Hey, what's up, everybody? I just decided to make this real fast. I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible if I can, and just kind of give thoughts. I'm not going to do all the crazy things I normally do with this. I just kind of, one, want to get it up. Two, I just want to talk about Candyman real fast. So, this is just a complete reaction to just seeing the movie. And also, there probably are going to be spoilers. So, spoilers, no crazy things. Like I said, I just wanted to record it really fast, and see like my thoughts on it, because the whole drive back, I kind of was like, I don't know what to think of the movie. So first and foremost, uh, do you need to see the original to kind of get it? Yeah, you kind of do. So if you were a big fan of the original movie, I think that this is going to be satisfying, to be completely honest with you. It definitely was a lot more satisfying to me than I thought it was going to be. So, yeah, like, especially the way that it was kind of going, and then I wasn't sure whether or not like I'm still in that phase of, do I like really like it? Do I like it, or was it just kind of like okay? So what is this one about? Jesus, that's a heavy-handed thing to say. It is definitely, it's a continuation of the story, right? So it's not just about, building a whole new legacy, or that the legacy of Candyman's there. Even in the trailers, I felt like it was something that, like, they're continuing the whole thing, and that I had those feelings. And since it's one of those movies that is currently really only out in the theater, I think that they had to kind of draw people in by showing the trailer again and again and again and again. And then while we were down in Universal, like, it's plastered in a bunch of places down there because this is their next big thing with Jordan Peele. I think the movie's well written. I think the movie is extremely well shot. I can understand why the director, uh, I know it's DaCosta. I forgot her first name, but I know why she's getting the Marvels to direct that film. I think that there are some really beautiful shots in this movie. The I want to talk about the negatives first, and then I'm going to talk about a lot of the positives of what I really did like about this movie. And like I said, warning again, spoilers, because I have to talk about the way the film ends, and I have to talk about some key things that happen in the movie. So, the negatives in the film, the deaths. It starts off really well, and I'm not saying there isn't some gore, and there's not some gory things that kind of happen in the film, but some things happen off camera or from really far away, and some things just don't really look right. The first major death that happens in the movie is really well done. I really enjoyed it, and I'm like, man, that's brutal. That's great. It happens to two art dealers that are in there, and I just was like, okay, well, this is the way it's gonna go. And that scene is really well shot and really well set up. Because it's, like I said, it's about an artist that now lives in Cabrini Green from the first movie, but it's been gentrified, and it's got all these nice apartments and everything around there. But there still is the area where the original Candyman took place. It's still kind of there. It's not completely there, but it's kind of there. And yeah, I'm gonna. I hate to use this word. I hate to use the word woke, but it definitely is, has a lot of commentary on, everything that happens with gentrification and how they push people out of areas, because he is a minority artist that focuses in on, like, minority issues through his art, right? Like, the first painting you see is of, it's a black man that's holding the noose that's around his neck and, like, pulling it down from around his neck. It's not like hanging him up, it's hanging him down. It's down. And I to the people that kind of have this, like, aversion to these types of things, sometimes I don't know if they even like focused in on the original material that stuff is based on. Like saw a lot of like negative reviews from viewers, and a lot of it was like, oh, they took this franchise and this thing, and Jordan Peele and them, and they tried to make it like way too woke and yada yada. And I'm just like, but did you see Candyman? Like, the thing that I love about horror is that it can be a cheesy blood splatter fest at the same time that it can have a fantastic message, or it can try to tell you something. And there are the dumb horror movies, the monster movies that are out there, and then there are the commentary movies. I mean, Night of the Living Dead is a huge commentary movie, but it's got zombies, and it's, it has those scenes in it, and the horror, and maybe you don't think about it, but it says a lot, and it's an old school movie. It's not something that you see on the regular when you see these movies. When it comes to the original Candyman and our main character, Helen, that's going into this and wants to learn about the legend, and she sees what's going on there, and she's on the outside of the struggles that these people. It's like, I don't want to compare it in the same way, but it's like People Under the Stairs in terms of this type of horror movie. Wes Craven really created a fantastic movie with The People Under the Stairs, and I believe the original Candyman has a lot of that same type of commentary into it. And maybe because there's a connection to certain things in the audience that you don't think about it, maybe it's not as forward or upfront about it, but it definitely has a lot of the same messages that this movie has. I have not seen Farewell to the Flesh in a long time, so I can't compare that at all. And actually, it makes me want to go back and see it and remember if it's as bad as I remember it being, because I did not really like Farewell to the Flesh that much. But going kind of back again, I hate that I have to go to the negatives of this movie. The like I said, the kills itself, and I'm sorry if this is like stream of consciousness type of thought. I just saw it, and I'm still like, internalizing and trying to process everything that I just saw. So it's going to be stream of thought for a lot of this. And you know me, I talk too fucking much. But the thing is that the first kill, while brutal, there's a lot of CGI and stuff that's put into it that just doesn't really gel with the scene at the same time, and that happens in a couple of the other kills as well. The kill of the critic, when she dies, it's from way far away. It's I know that it's probably to keep the rating that it has and not get any worse. And I feel like, the MPAA is really cracking down on certain things, or maybe this is to, reach other markets. Who knows what's going to happen with that? But when she dies, she's like pushed against the glass and then smeared across the glass. And it's a cool little kill, but you don't really get to see much of it. It's just really far away. And then when the girls get killed, and the thought that I had with Pat after we saw the movie is, I think the girls were meant to be high school girls, and they called them in like an ADR type of scene. When they were discussing the deaths of the girls, they called them college school girls, but they were obviously high school girls, and they couldn't show the high school girls dying because they don't show people that are of age at least die in most of these types of movies, right? You never kill many kids in horror, and in some movies it's like, oh, okay, we're gonna kill these girls, these boys, or whatever they're going to kill, these young kids, and then it's kind of interesting when they do it. And some movies do it way more intense than others, but here, like the scene, he kills one of the girls, and it's like the blood just like pours down, and it's thick and soupy, and like that visual is cool, but I kind of wanted, like, it made me crave for more. Like, and that's the thing with, like, I would say with horror movies, is that if you are a certain type of horror fan, you want to see more gore, you want to see everything flowing, and you just don't get that in this. The acting is pretty good. I think I said when I talked to Pat originally, I said it was good, but I'm just gonna say pretty good. It's not the best, and this is a little of the negative. Is our main actor? For the life of me, I cannot remember. I know he played Black Manta in Aquaman, and he was pretty good in that. Here, he's he has his ups and downs, and there's one, the scene with the critic is one of the ones I think that's up, and I think the ending section of the movie is an up in terms of that. But there's a couple of times where it's just, it doesn't feel right, and he doesn't feel like that character. Another negative is the big twist of the movie. It was given away in the trailer to me. You know, some people, maybe the first trailer, maybe because I've seen the second trailer a lot, but in the, even in the first trailer, I'm like, this is what I think it's going to be. And you know that, so that big twist that happens in this movie, which I won't really spoil, and it's, I don't know if I call it a twist, but it's like a revelation, maybe that's a better way to say it. It's just, it doesn't hit as well. Now, I will have to go back and check, and I still haven't, I, like I said, just instant reaction. But the person that plays his mom, I think, is in the first movie, and I think I'm right, and that's would be pretty cool. But her performance again for the scene that it was, is it's a little overdone. And his girlfriend, I guess that's what she actually is, she again is iffy. She has her ups and downs. Um, the biggest negative I have with this movie is the ending act, like the last, not the whole act, but like the last 10 to maybe 15 minutes of the movie. It's a little long, and it's really confusing of what exactly happens in that scene. Like, why is this going on? You know, because based upon the beginning of the movie and a character, the laundromat owner that you meet, who is, again, like I said, spoilers, is the boy from the beginning of the movie, right? And which you learn really early on in the movie. It's not like I'm giving it away. It would have been interesting if this was the twist at this point, but it's him, like his vision of turning Aaron, our main character, into Candyman, into what people need to believe as Candyman, just seems to come out of nowhere. Like, it literally comes out of nowhere. And I'm like, what? Like, you see the transformation in Aaron himself, right? Because he gets stung the first day, you see that in the trailer, and then his hand slowly starts to decay, and then it reaches like all the way up his arm, and then it's on the side of his face, and you see like basically the hive is what's forming on him, right? He's getting little beehive, like little holes all over his neck. If you suffer from tryptophobia, you're probably gonna have problems with seeing this movie. But it's there. The makeup is good, but it's just like, I really thought that he was going to turn into Candyman gradually. Like, it was just going to be like infecting his mind, and in Candyman, that's what he was doing. But which is kind of true. But like this whole thing of like, oh, well, look, I've turned this artist guy into him so that they can be afraid of him again. It just seems like it's rushed, and there's more that's missing from the film to give you, like, to make that satisfying. And and and, and that's not like the end of the movie. You know, I kind of like the end section of it, but again, it is a little heavy handed on the social commentary. Like, I can tell that even though Jordan Peele wrote the movie, right, Us and Get Out, I feel it has that stuff in it, but it doesn't feel heavy handed like this. And this wasn't completely just written by Jordan Peele. This was also written by two other people, including DaCosta. And I feel that, you know, that maybe adding some of their flair or their ideas to the thing, maybe some of these scenes, and it could be that it's just not a whole lot, and that the reason that like DaCosta is getting some writing credit is because she had to make some changes to film it the way that she wanted to film the film. Would it have been better if Jordan Peele did the whole thing? I don't know. Like I said, I think it's directed really well. I think that that is a very big highlight of the movie. And the cinematography, like I said, is really good too. So I think in that regard, it's not a problem. But I think that she doesn't get enough out of her actors and actresses to really do what maybe she wanted to do. So that's where I have maybe my little issues with the film. Now, when it comes to the good in the film, the imagery of Candyman, like how he pops up into frame and when he pops up and where it is, great, loved it. I do love the idea of the story point that Candyman isn't necessarily one person. It is a representation of the struggle that's gone through because of what happened to our original Candyman, played by Tony Todd in the very first movie. And that was like that's good because then you can do tons of different stories. You can do whatever you want with the rest of the characters, and you can always bring them back. You can always have a new Candyman. Yes, the cat and the dog are fighting in the background. I apologize. But the other good things I think are some of the like the first and second acts are really good. I was really brought into the movie. I think it's unlike both Us and Get Out. There isn't a ton of humor in them. Like those ones had a lot of like humorous things happen to like lighten the mood. Here there are funny things, but they're not like laugh out loud funny. They're more like in some ways uncomfortably funny. Like they're real things and you laugh at them, and they're plays on tropes, and I really really enjoyed those. There's also some funny stuff that's not intentionally funny, but I laughed anyway because I thought it was like kind of silly. The biggest thing that is the I would say the one of the bigger highlights, and it's playing on tropes, right? Of minorities surviving everything for the most part, right? None of the none of the black characters or any other characters except for the white characters call on Candyman, except for Aaron. He's the only one that does because he's so infatuated with the legend of Candyman in the area that he is to produce more art. He thinks he's going to have this big thing with it, right? And so it's like every time that they're put into a situation that they could call Candyman or do something, they all say, nope, ain't gonna do it. Her brother probably gets one of the best ones where, don't you be calling no Candyman. Like, it's good. Like, it plays on that trope of, only only white people do the stupid shit in horror movies, and they're doing the stupid shit in the horror movies. And it also plays to the strength of Candyman being this legend in terms of like a revenge tale of the what was done to him because he had the audacity to fall in love with a white girl, and it was during a time where you shouldn't be doing that, and well, it wasn't looked fondly upon, I should say, and he was killed and tortured and everything because of it. That stuff was really good. I really enjoyed the flip on that trope. I really enjoyed the way that people were, like the realism in the situation, like of what was happening in the film. It's like I said, I'm just because of the last act, I'm just so, you know, that's where I get the iffy about it. That's where I'm so like, it really just comes down to why is this so confusing? I like the little end credits thing too. I like the fact that the credits, one, were pretty damn quick, and two, like showcased everybody that had been portrayed as a Candyman, and the things that happened to them, including Aaron in this movie. I think it's worth it to sit through that at the end of the film, and it's cool because they and I loved the other thing I really loved about this film was its connection to the original film. Right, I loved that they used Helen, that they showed pictures of her from before, that she actually was like her recordings for the first movie were actually used in the film. That it all takes place in the same area. That is all. It's great. I really builds a like Candyman world, and it opens them to do more if they want to do more. Which I think I'd be okay with to see another Candyman movie, but I'd like them to fix a couple of things that were kind of out of place in this one. I also don't want it to be a farewell to the flesh type of movie. Again, I need to see that one again to I remember just not liking it very much, like at all. I was so excited to see another Candyman movie. And I remember Candyman when I was a kid scared the living crap out of me, you know. But watching it as an adult, I'm like, I don't know why it did. Like, not just because Tony Todd was such an awesome presence, and that voice is booming, and the way that they do the kills and everything like that. It's it's just that there was something about it, and I think maybe I understand it in a different way nowadays than I did back then. And again, like I just feel that there's a misrepresentation of, and I could be talking out my ass, but it's just like I said, stream of consciousness thoughts here. But I feel like there's a misrepresentation of the original film in comparison with this film, and the fact that it is well done. And I think that if I'm gonna rate this, I think I have to give it a 3.5 out of 5 sawed off arms. I think that it's good. I don't like using half points, but I think that this one deserves that half because it really is teetering between the average good film and becoming a just a great film, not an excellent film, but a great film. And if it were to fix those things, like I would love to see like a director's cut of this to where maybe they added more to get you to that point of the third act, right? Because the third act is basically him going back to his mom, the big reveal that happens in it, and I feel like you can kind of guess again from the trailers what that reveal is, and then he just kind of like wanders back there and then is taken over by this character from the beginning of the movie that wants to make him Candyman. Like he wants, and it's not make him like turn him into the Candyman. He wants to make him a symbol like the Candyman, right? What happened to him? He's not actually, he's not the one that did all of this stuff, but he's the one that's going to be blamed for what's going on. And the whole like comparisons, like all of these guys, and maybe it's something within the character, like it's a redemption arc for him because he's the one that caused the guy that was Candyman, this guy Sherman, who became Candyman for a little bit again, and who he saw kill his sister. Like maybe that's what it is, like to kind of clear his conscience or something like that, so that the Candyman that was remembered wasn't the one that killed his sister. I don't know. Like, see, the motivations are so vague. It just hurts it. It hurts it like so much in that last act that I'm still thinking like, how do I interpret what exactly is going on? So, like I said, I think it's a good 3.5 out of 5. I don't think that it's a bad movie. I think that if you really enjoyed the first one, I think that if you don't go into it thinking that it's going to be that it's going to be like super woke, or that it's going to be this like slaughter fest, then you'll have a good time. And the thing is, I had a good time. I have to say that most of the movie, I was really like, I was smiling, I was really into it, and then it just went, huh. And I'm still in the mode of things. So originally intended this only to be like a 10-minute video, but I kept talking on it. So, but yeah, I'm sorry that I haven't updated this channel as much as I should. Like I said, I'm just trying to make this a really not quick one, but just a straight upload, no special, no like cut-in scenes or anything like that. Just listen to me talk for a bit. And I've got a couple of things that I know I always say this shit, but I do have some stuff that I'm going to be uploading in the next week or so. I've got, with Monday off, I'm going to hopefully work on some video stuff. And probably won't be any reviews. It'll probably be Like I've got some, I think I got a bag opening. Maybe there'll be another review that'll be thrown up. Actually, I have one that I think is due for Patrick that I said I would do. But yeah, so don't forget, after you see this weekend, that there will be a new podcast up, and it's going to be in Little Shop of Horrors. I'm really excited to do that. If I can swing it, I might release it a little early so that it actually falls on my birthday. Yeah, let me know what you thought about Candyman in the comments below. I know I'm always really late to some of these things because you're supposed to get them up right away, right after you see the movie. But you know, sometimes life happens and you go on a mini vacation. You go down to Southern California, and you don't get to see the movie when it's released and do your talk like this. So don't forget. So you can find the podcast on all available platforms: iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Play, everything that's out there. Pretty much you can find it on. And if you like the content that you've seen so far on this channel, make sure that you like and subscribe. And in the coming months, in October, I will again be doing the 31 and 31. I will try to do more videos kind of like this. I think that these are better than going through and trying to make these fantastic videos. And I will keep those under 10 minutes. But you know, I've gotten some suggestions on movies to do for the 31-31. I liked one, but I think I want to do that sometime separately. That the Angry Dad actually suggested was like bands and movies. And I don't know if there's enough horror stuff with bands, and I think it would take me too long to actually research it and then then watch the movies that I'm going to do. But this year I'm doing, I'm going to call it's the creature feature. So I'm going to look at movies that have some sort of creature in it, whether it's from the Black Lagoon, which I probably won't watch, even though I really want to watch. I usually try to watch that maybe every Halloween because it's one of my favorite movies of all time. You know, as long as it has some sort of creature in it, I think we're going to take a look. I'm going to try to look at some newer stuff that's out there, like, you know, 5 to 10 minute reviews, all those things. So they'll be up. It'll be the 31 and 31 creature feature. So make sure if you know, like the other 31-31s that I've done, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, ring the bell. And then go ahead and every other Wednesday, so it's not, when this comes out, this is Wednesday, so next week, there is, we over on the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Terrible Terror Podcast, all one word. And we do watch parties. And so next week, the vote is currently going on Twitter. It'll probably finish up before the time a lot of people see this video. And we'll watch a movie together. I really like doing these watch parties over there on Twitch. Do them every other week that I don't do the podcast so that I have time. And probably I'm going to incorporate into those some of these creature features for October. And there may be, it's possible that there's going to be one that I might miss, one Twitch party. But if I don't get to that Wednesday, then it falls on a different day of that week. So thank you guys so much for watching. And I will talk to y'all next time.